everybody, happy Wednesday. It's a lazy after work day. Hey, I spent a lot of time today answering comments on videos, so I think probably close to like 400, 500 different comments across about 70 different videos that we had out there. And everything is caught up at this point. Again, if folks want a response back, we try to give you a response back to whatever comments you guys are leaving, as long as you have it set in your settings for Google to give you a response. The other thing is, a lot of comments that we get lately are things that probably best served going through like customer service for like Disney or for Universal, because we get a lot of questions and I love helping folks, but when things are getting asked like, how much does it cost to go to Halloween Horror Nights? Or what are the dates for this? Or so-and-so. Those are things that usually it's better to go through the actual site itself. And it's not that I don't want to help, it's that I don't have the answers the same way that like Universal themselves or Disney or wherever else folks are trying to reach have the answers themselves. I'm more than happy to give advice to what we've enjoyed to date. Hopefully we're conveying that in the videos, but when it comes to those types of questions, we're really not the source to go to. And one of the other things that's kind of tough is that I feel obligated to continue to have to keep responding, but some of the comments tend to end up being like instant messages back and forth with 7, 8 different responses. And usually if I'm trying to respond to something, I'm trying to respond and close it out. But I'm glad you guys want to continue to keep responding back, but I can't get to every sub-response that folks are saying. And it's just due to time. Something's got to give at some point. So tonight's been one of those nights, besides running errands, because now it's getting later and it's almost close to 10, that sitting around and actually catching up with folks on the phone. Things that are not video friendly or exciting, so I apologize for this not being the most exciting video so far. We do have a very napping kitty over here with us. He was snoring before and now he stopped. Hey, one thing that Mary is opening up one of her gifts from her birthday, because one we ended up having to do since we stayed at Cabana Bay last weekend is we kind of rocketed past gift opening for Mary, but she got something that she wanted, at least initially when we were out in LA earlier this year. And then I tracked down in the stores on Force Friday, one of the last times that we picked up at like 8 o'clock in the morning on that Friday. But anyway, I just read an article. I'm not sure how many folks are aware, if there's a lot of folks that watch the channel that do like streaming online, whether it's like Apple Music or Spotify or Pandora and those types of services. But, I'm not sure, casual listeners, if you realize just how much or how little the artists are making from the music that you're streaming on these sites today, because I saw something that was outstanding before that, just to put it in perspective, folks that make music, basically, if you're buying a song, obviously, the way things used to work is if you bought a full record, the artist would make X amount of money off of a record. So let's say, back 30 years ago, a record or CD, somebody might make $1, the whole band off of it, after the labels made their money and lawyers and publishing and all that kind of good stuff. And then along came Apple Music with like iTunes, where things were being sold a la carte, and you had a record or songs that were being sold for like a buck a piece, and it was like a 70-30 split, 70% going to like Apple. I may have these percentages backwards, and the 30% theoretically going towards the artist, but the artist also still has to get their take from lawyers and labels and all of that good stuff. And then you started to see a lot of artists like 9 Inch Nails and these other people that kind of went independent, had their stuff put on their websites to buy kind of for themselves, to try to eliminate some of the excess cost, because basically with the advent of people, Napster and these other sites like BitTorrent, where people were stealing music, and iTunes kind of decimating the music industry, really we went from records being released on a level of first week release of like 1 million plus copies to now maybe topping out at like 30,000, which, to put it in perspective, some of our videos that we do that are more popular, like the Halloween Horror Nights videos, may get up to like 30,000 views. That's how many views or how many people are actually purchasing the records of some of the bigger artists out there when things are released the first week. That's nuts. But more importantly, streaming sites like Spotify, and I know we've talked about that kind of stuff before, these sites charge money. They do have free models, and they have models where you're being charged, whether it's Beats or Spotify, and it's Pandora, that you can listen to stuff for a very cheap price, as much as you want every month. It's a win for the consumer because you figure like, hey, $10 a month, I can listen to whatever I want. But then you think on the back end how much work is going into putting some of this stuff out from the artist side. And I saw an article today. This is a very long story that's all of a sudden, but the story today was about the person that wrote the song All About That Bass from Meghan Trainor. So obviously Meghan Trainor did not sit down and write this wonderful song last year that was an earworm for everybody. But somebody wrote that song, and they get the publishing rights because of that song. And that song was streamed 100 million times. And the amount, what would you think that somebody would make off of writing that song and putting the work into recording or writing that song for 100 million times being listened to on one of these services? We have Jesse here. What do you think?
$10.
No, that would be ridiculous.
I have no idea.
$100.
Jesse has no concept. And I actually think maybe some of the younger folks out there really have no concept. But instead of somebody buying that song 100 million times, even if you bought it 100 million times on iTunes, that would be $100 million. For it being streamed on these services, that writer and owner of that song got paid $5,600.
That was close.
That is ridiculous. So we live in a time now where I know that folks think that everything should be for free. And, we've had this conversation a million times on this channel about buying like hard media, CDs and everything. Like we're really putting Sammy to sleep. But really, it's a crime to be ripping somebody off for that type of money. It's just mind-blowing. So that's my latest rant of the week. And now look at him. Tell me more stories about the music industry. I want to sleep for hours. Alright, so one of the things that Mary wanted for her birthday, or wanted altogether, when we were out in Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim this year, like a Mary yawn.
I'm sorry.
So, she wanted Furbacca. We saw this Furbacca. Mary loves Chewbacca. And that's partly one of the reasons why I wore the Chewbacca costume to Mickey's Not So Scary, but they had like a 6-foot version of this Furbacca at Star Wars Celebration, which was ridiculous. Eddie's coming over for this grand reveal. And she finally got her Furbacca now for her birthday. And this thing was ridiculously expensive.
Yes.
But we'll see. I didn't know that people even use like Furbies anymore. But turns out, and I forgot about this, we actually have Gizmo as a Furby also.
Yeah, we have a Furby Gizmo.
Eddie wants to go in the box. Eddie wants to be a Furby now. Hold on, look at this thing. Who puts instructions like this? Like you gotta make it like a poster for instructions. This is ridiculous. Couldn't you make like a little booklet that people could turn the pages? Eddie's very anxious for his Furby brother to join his Spiro BB-8 brother. Oh, look at that. We're keeping him up. Mary didn't even get the cover on him yet and he's already complaining. What is that thing? Oh. Look at his demon eyes.
Oh!
It's got TIE fighters in it, but you can't see it in this video. Nope.
This doesn't stop!
Because I'm petting him.
At least it's not annoying.
No.
You can feed him also. Let's see what happens when we try to feed him. Eat the finger. Well, that's not too weird.
Cannibalism.
There's an app for him too. So let's see. We're going to say yes for the microphone. Alright, we're going to make him...
Put it down.
We're scanning to try to sync our Furbacca to our phone. Looks like it might be complete.
Okay. This is where you keep your Furbacca.
Clean.
This is where you keep it.
Mm-hmm. Clean.
Alright, theoretically we're cleaning the Furbacca right now.
Oh, it's too hot.
Made purple!
I don't know if it's necessarily doing anything. What if we shoot it this way?
Yeah, he's getting washed.
Alright. Now we're gonna try to feed this thing. Whatever that did.
Oh, he's eating.
How exciting. Alright, well that was exciting. Definitely well worth the wait. I'm glad that I stayed up to like 8 o'clock in the morning to get that at the store.
Yeah.
Yay! As long as she's happy.
Thank you.
Well, again, apologies for the video today. Not the greatest in the world, but this is what happens when we're stuck kind of midweek and trying to find stuff to show you guys. We're back in the parks again tomorrow, Halloween Horror Nights. So check it out. We'll be trying to capture more in some of the scare zones and seeing what's improved week over week. So we'll see you then. On that note, thank you for all of your likes. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. We'll see you guys.